Hey guys, welcome to another edition of the Rauf Report. I am Brian Rauf with Chat Sports, taking you through and breaking down all the latest news and rumors from around the college basketball world. First, we need to talk about the big news of the week, Louisville being forced to vacate their 2013 national championship. This comes from the NCAA denying Louisville's appeal of penalties that were handed down from the 2015 scandal involving sex parties where former assistant coach Andre McGee would bring in prostitutes and strippers in an attempt to help lure recruits to Louisville, and Louisville was appealing these the penalties that were handed down to them because they didn't feel that any of the allegations and indiscretions helped the team on the court at all. But the NCAA denied that appeal, citing the serious and intentional nature of those violations. Now, what exactly are the penalties? Louisville has been forced to vacate all of their wins from the 2011-2012 season through the 2014-15 season, and that includes their 2012 Final Four appearance and, of course, their 2013 National Championship appearance, which is the big one. And on top of that, Louisville is also on probation until June 14th, 2021. Now, Rick Pitino, this happened under former Louisville head coach Rick Pitino's tenure at Louisville. He's now no longer there due to the FBI investigation and fallout that came from that. It's important to note that these penalties came from the sex party scandal and not anything FBI related. That still has to come down for Louisville and may still come down for many other schools around the country as well. But Rick Pitino is urging Louisville to fight the NCAA in court on this issue with these penalties. He's saying that the NCAA can't rewrite history, and once again backing up Louisville's what they were appealing, the reason for their appeal. They said the infractions had nothing to do with helping the players' eligibility or their performance on the court in winning that championship. Of course, he also claimed in a press conference yesterday that he has run a clean program all his life, which with everything surrounding Louisville, both with this and the FBI, we know that's probably not the case. But he's still holding firm in that. So we're going to bring up a reaction poll here on the bigger topic of this Louisville thing and the NCAA stripping their national championship from 2013. Should the NCAA be allowed to vacate national champions? Give us the react with a love emoji for if you think they should be allowed to, and a wow emoji if you think they shouldn't. Now, this is a touchy subject because in everybody's minds, and the NCAA tournament actually happened. Louisville won. We can't just erase that from memories, even though it'll be erased from the record books. That's the argument against it and how much it really punishes the program. Obviously, losing national championship hurts Louisville. There's some pushback on it in the fact that we know it happened. The same thing with Reggie Bush having his Heisman Trophy stripped and vacated from him. We know it happened. So does vacating really do anything to change the perception of Louisville's program? Let us know your thoughts by reacting to the poll. Now, there's also been some new developments in the FBI investigation, not pertaining to Louisville, but Yahoo Sports' Pete Thamel reported there's more information that the documents the FBI has gotten from former NBA agent Andy Miller, that there's a surprising level of specificity in the documents that demonstrate the blatant nature of these deals. They detail how much was paid to certain players, who those players were, and how much more money they were going to be paid. Thamel says in the article, if your school produced a first-round pick in the past 3 years, you should be worried. A lot of schools have produced first-round picks in the past 3 years. That shows just how widespread this corruption and bribery scandal in college basketball is. It's not just Louisville, it's not just Miami, not just USC, not just Arizona, not just the schools that were named in the initial report. This is going to be a widespread thing across college basketball that is going to impact almost all the top programs across the sport. Now, some of the immediate fallout from that pertaining to USC especially is D'Anthony Melton, one of their star players who has been held out all year due to questions about his eligibility stemming from the FBI investigation. Last month, a couple months ago, it was announced that he would not play for the rest of the season due to his eligibility concerns. Well, yesterday he announced that he is leaving USC in order to focus on an NBA career. He's projected to be a late first-round pick in the draft, so this is something he's got an NBA future, a talented athletic guard. We've seen some players, for instance, Marcus Levette for St. John's, decided he was going to leave St. John's due to an injury and pursue a professional career. He's not going to make it to the NBA. This is a case where a guy had his NCAA eligibility essentially run its course, but he has an NBA future, and so he's going to work on pursuing that. We'll hear his name called in June. We'll hear about him through the pre-draft process. It's going to be something interesting to watch. Another top prospect who is on the court is Duke's Marvin Bagley, who, despite having a mild knee strain, what was described as a very minor injury by Duke, he's now missed his 4th straight game. He suffered the injury in the first half against UNC at the beginning of the month. He's now sat out 4 straight games. Those were wins over Georgia Tech, Virginia Tech, Clemson, and Louisville for Duke. But again, this was something that was described as a very minor injury, and here he is 4 games later, and we still haven't seen him. Duke continues to say that he's day-to-day, and the injury is still very minor. It just depends on how Bagley reacts to the injury and his recovery. But this is something that it's clear is going to drag out longer than I think anybody anticipated. We told you a couple weeks ago to keep an eye on this, the fact that it could be something that lingers, become a bigger story as the season has gone on. Well, it has. It's clear Duke is being very cautious with him because, one, he's one of the best players in the country and can help them in March. And number 2, he's got an NBA future. He's going to be a top 5 pick, and they don't want to do anything to jeopardize that either. So we're going to bring another reaction poll here. Does Duke need Marvin Bagley if they're going to make the Final Four this season? Remember, those 4 games that he's missed have all been wins. There have been some ill-advised takes, I would say, over the past week that Duke's actually better without Marvin Bagley. I do not believe that's the case, but what do you think? Does Duke need Marvin Bagley to make the Final Four? Let us know here with your reactions. Another major injury to a top team was Phil Booth, the starting guard for Villanova. He had missed 7 games with a broken hand. He returned Wednesday in a win over DePaul for Villanova. He scored 14 points in 16 minutes in his return, and he'll be back in Villanova's starting lineup. They're going to move Dante DiVincenzo, who's played excellent in his role, filling in for Booth in the starting lineup, back to the bench. Now, Villanova's had some problems during the 3.5 weeks Booth missed, specifically defensively, and with their depth, they lost 2 games during that span without him. He's going to help shore up that roster and make them, again, I think the best team going into March because he's healthy.